Oh, dang on. Okay. So I did it again. I started recording and I didn't hit the go live button on YouTube. So we should be live now. Hopefully y'all can hear me all right. Hopefully the voice, the noise, like the microphone sounds nice and crispy. I'm using some special software to try and filter out the noise in the background because of my air conditioner. So hopefully I've been successful in doing that. And also, for those of you who are here, thank you for showing up on Sunday night. So what we got here so far? Jiro Kirishima looks like Mario Odyssey. Actually, my channel's been around longer than Mario Odyssey, but the kids like the hat, so that's how I ended up with it. Tom C, hi Adam, my best friend, your family, thanks a lot, Tom. I appreciate it. Unfortunately, I couldn't pull that for Onward Mobility to introduce a new BlackBerry. My two was held together with chewing gum and duct tape. That's fresh out of baling wire. What do you go ahead and pick up? It's echoing. Let me see if I can adjust that. Hold on. Microphone. Let me mess with this. Okay. Is the echoing any better now? Hopefully it is. I just turned off one of the features inside of the setting, so maybe it's better now. I can't hear it right now. I can't hear what you're hearing, so hopefully it's better. Yeah, I just changed the setting on here. Hopefully it's cleared up by the time you finally hear this. There's like a 20-second delay between when I make a change and then when y'all hear it on your end. So I'm hoping it's better. Crossing my fingers anyway. This is the first time I've used this new software. But let me know if it gets better. Hopefully. Still echoing. Let me try this. Change this. Adjust that. Alright, I just changed some more settings on here. Hopefully that'll fix it. And if not, I'll try something else. Audio capture, filter. Is it still echoing? Yeah, I think what's going on is I think it's using two different audio sources. So hold on one second. Okay, so remove that. I think this is the issue here. So okay. All right. I think I got it figured out. Hopefully that fixed it. So yeah, it seems like it was using the microphone and picking it up from the camera and also picking it up from the audio source that I added on here. So hopefully it's gone now. I hope so. Y'all can tell me. I'm sure you'll tell me here if it's fixed now. All right, cool. Are we good to go? Can I talk? Hopefully it's fixed. All right, I fixed it. Yeah, so I'm using this special software. I've got my air conditioner running in the background. It's like crazy loud. So I'm using RTX audio with NVIDIA broadcast through OBS, through YouTube. So what was happening was when I set up the new input devices, it was using the microphone from the camera as well as my actual Yeti Studio mic. So we should be good now. Thank you. I'm glad we could work through that together. Hopefully I didn't scare too many people off. So thanks. And man, lots of people in here already. Slaw OTS, Arisa, Nevermore, hello, Koa, Feliciano, Justin J, CH Gadgets, Curio Critters, Tom C, Benny Bats, Mike Moretti, Ken Hawthorne, Tom C, Keanu Reeves, glad Keanu Reeves could join us tonight. Randy 007, Daniel Go, Edward Jr. Thanks a lot. I am glad you're all here tonight. So, yeah, trying to get back into this live streaming thing, at least for the next couple of weeks anyway, until first week of July gets here. But I wanted to talk about some stuff because, of course, y'all have seen all the videos I put out because, let me grab my phone over here, because I've got the Unihertz Titan Pocket. So I thought we could talk about that some tonight. Also wanted to talk about basically, BlackBerry and Onward Mobility, or Onward Not So Mobility. Maybe that's what we could change the name to. And also AT&T, because of course AT&T is causing a lot of problems for a lot of people right now, because of course not only it's like a double whammy, or like a triple whammy of different issues we have with BlackBerry 10, because BlackBerry 10 is going to reach end of life January 2022. On top of that, the networks are not going to support 2G and 3G anymore, and they don't support voice over LTE. So it's like the operating system is going to be mothballed, and then the networks that you could use them on, even if they were in like a basic mode, at least here in the United States, are no longer going to work. So that creates a very special set of circumstances that, really a very special set of very sucky circumstances, because, well, it sucks. So that's a problem. Yeah, so the key twos are not going to work with AT&T once they finally shut them off. And some people's I know have already got shut off, and then have like successfully got them turned back on. But some people have anyway. Some people have not. It really just depends on how good the customer service person that you can get a hold of is. CH Gadgets is Supra. Yeah, I guess maybe we could talk about the Supra here in a little bit, but that's not the number one topic of conversation right now. So yeah, we have a whole lot of issues right now affecting the BlackBerry community, because we are waiting on this device to come from Onward Mobility. It's not here, and we haven't heard anything from them. But word on the street is I think they're going to announce something soon. I don't know what it has to do with. My guess is that it's probably not going to be an announcement that we have a device in like the next week or two. But I think they're going to put out some sort of announcement soon. And they've been responding to some emails, which is really weird. Apparently, I had one or two people reach out to me and say, hey, they wrote me back finally. And it seems like they're, I guess, trying to at least reply to some of the thousands of emails that they've got. So, that's good. If you wrote them an email and they got back with you, I don't know if anyone that told me about that is inside this live stream right now. I don't have a copy of one of those emails, but I was like, hey, that's cool. I'm glad that they're, kind of responding to people. And I think that's probably the biggest thing that I think has hurt people's feelings the most. We're waiting on this device. We want the device to be here. Clearly it's not here, so that creates a problem. And two, it's like, what do you do? It's like they're cutting off the BlackBerry Androids for the most part. AT&T is only going to be supporting the Key 1 and the Prib, which at least you can still use those. I would highly recommend the Key 1 over the Prib. But yeah, it's problematic, because we're not going to be able to use those, and then we can't use BlackBerry 10. The new one's not here, so what do we do? And I'm going to make a video about this to talk about some different options. And I'm waiting to hear something from these guys, because if they come out and they say, hey, it's delayed, it'll be here in 3 months, then, that's great. Then we can adjust fire. If they say, hey, it's not going to happen, then, well, that's terrible. But I don't think that's the case. I think it's probably a matter of, if you look around there, I talked about this previously. A lot of people around the industry are having a lot of problems. Cars can't get chips to make their cars. Phone manufacturers can't get chips to make their phones. And, Onward Mobility and BlackBerry, I'm sure, are not high on the production list. So that's an issue. So we'll have to wait and see what they say. I do anticipate that we're going to have, it's kind of, the writing's on the wall. The first half of 2021 ends in like 2.5 weeks. So they kind of have to say something. And if it comes around to July 1st and we don't hear anything from them, I'm pretty certain that like 90% of people are going to be like really, really, really pissed off. So, and I would hope that they know that. And if they're watching this, I hope that they know that, because a lot of people have, a big stake in this, and they believe in the goodwill of the brand, but the brand has burned so many of us so many times over and over and over. So yeah, other phones look very lucrative when you have a phone that you can't use. So, and I think they have to realize that if somebody finally gives up on the BlackBerry and moves to something else, it's going to be really hard to get you to come back, because, well, you probably got an iPhone, or you got a Samsung, you got something that, you might have a 24-month payment agreement on. You might have an installment agreement for 30 months or for 36 months. And then what do? You're going to take it in the shorts to go back and try and sell your phone or trade it in so you can get a BlackBerry? Probably not. So yeah, it's very frustrating. And lots of comments tonight. Thank you so much, everybody, for stopping by. See, it start at the top here. Thanks for doing this. Definitely awesome. You're welcome, Benny. BlackBerry needs to hurry up. Key 2s will not work on AT&T network. That's true. The Key 2 and the Key 2 LE are both going to be pants very soon. Here for news on BlackBerry. Typing on BlackBerry Black Edition Key 1. I love the Black Edition Key 1. Very good phone. I want my Key 2 LE to have voice over LTE. Matt03. I really wish that it did. AT&T sucks. I've been a customer since 2007. Time to go. Yeah, I'm not a fan. I used them very briefly when the AT&T Passport came out because I got one for my wife, and also the Priv. So we had AT&T for maybe during that time period, like a year to 2 years, and they're overpriced. Really not that great. I'm not a big fan. I moved to T-Mobile. Here's one thing that you can take, like, they should be able to take note of. The Key 2 should still work on T-Mobile, I believe, and I think that they're going to still allow it to work. I think maybe even the Key 2 LE. The problem is not so much that the phones don't necessarily support voice over LTE, at least not to my knowledge. It's that AT&T won't support them because AT&T doesn't officially support the devices. They don't sell them. Since they sold the Priv and since they sold the Key 1, that's why those two will continue to work on it. So a lot of stuff that won't work on AT&T will continue to work on T-Mobile. Let me see. My old Priv battery sucked. I'm sure the new Priv battery would suck. I don't really recommend a whole lot of people run out and buy a Priv, only other than the fact that it's like $100. And if you're using a BlackBerry 10 device, it's still going to seem like a nice upgrade. I hate to say that, but it's truthful. I really want the Classic. It was such an amazing phone. The Classic is and was an amazing phone. Very, very good device. Always loved that one. Probably my most favorite BlackBerry ever, as far as the mainstream ones, other than my BlackBerry Porsche P9983. Someone knows if the new BlackBerry phone on the Titan Pocket will launch in South America. So here's the thing. The BlackBerry phone is supposed to be a global flagship. It's going to be GSM unlocked. So when it does come out, you should be able to pop your SIM card in as long as you've got a GSM network. It shouldn't be problematic. Same thing with the Titan Pocket. Yeah, the Key 2 LE even works on Verizon. So that's the only one that officially will actually work on it. And to get it to work, what you have to do is have to have an already activated line with the SIM and then move it over. You can't get a Key 2 LE and then try to activate it with Verizon services. That's the same thing with the Titan and also the Titan Pocket. So the Titan and the Titan Pocket will work with Verizon, but you have to have a SIM card that's already working on a number already working, and you basically just pop it in and you should be able to set it up and use it. So if you buy one brand new though and try to set that up and establish it with a new number on Verizon, it's not going to work. So that's how you get around that. Good to hear AT&T continuing to support the Key 1. What about security patches? So those are not going to be forthcoming. And my BlackBerry Key 1, the last security patch I got was like April of 2019. So we're 2021 right now. It's been over 2 years since that phone has got a security update. I don't have a lot of faith in the security patches for these devices. Like, they are secure to a point, but here's the thing. The security patch is important because they have hot fixes and they address new and emerging security threats. So it was secure up to that point, but then if you run into anything that's come out, any malware, any phishing software, any sort of security stuff that could impact your phone, it's not protected against that new stuff because they didn't patch it. So that's the problem you run into. So if you look back at where they were at that point in time, they were secure up to that point, but anything that's changed or is new, the devices have not adapted. They have not been brought up to speed to cover you and protect you for that stuff. So I'm sure there are certain levels of built-in integrity and security for the software without, allowing the kernel and other sorts of files to be compromised or messed with, because it'll stop that. But I have question marks about that. So looking at the Key 2, especially the 100-2 model that we have here in the US, at least the unlocked one, I've continued to get security patches for that all the way up to, I believe, June. And I think I did one on June. So hard to remember all of it. So that one, it seems to be still getting them. But when you look at the Key 1, you look at the Key 2 LE. Key 2 LE, the last software update I had was like October, November of 2020. So yeah, that stuff's problematic. So you're gonna put yourself in a compromised position using them, and if you are exposed to any of these new or current forms of security related software issues and viruses and everything else, but they're still mostly secure. I mean, there's some. I mean, I had the Asus Republic of Gaming phone number 5, and I recently sold it, and it was still running a January security patch, and it's a new phone. So I mean, not all phones are the best when it comes to security patches and software updates, but BlackBerry has always been paramount whenever it comes to security. So those are just my concerns. And that's also the concerns that I have with the Unihertz Titan Pocket. If you're using a BlackBerry because you love BlackBerry security so much, you're going to run into issues with this. Now, this one, I believe, let me double check it. I think it has a February one, but that's not something I'm really knocking them on at this point because the phone is not out yet. So this is just, it'll be updated whenever it comes out, or it should be anyway. Android version 11. So yeah, my security patch for the Titan Pocket is for April. I'd imagine they're probably going to put out quarterly ones. That would be my guess. I mean, bi-monthly would be nice, but probably going to be quarterly. Onward Mobility has to be more transparent. We haven't heard about the new phone in months, and it should have been released by now. I think that's most people's general sentiment. And anyone that has a problem with that, I think, is very spot on. I think it's a very reasonable assessment of the situation. BlackBerry gave these people a license, and we're supposed to trust them to bring this phone to market. And it's not just bringing the phone to market, though. We have to trust them to be able to do the security patches, to do support for hardware and for software and all these other different things. So, if you can't deliver on day one promises and you can't offer updates, then that puts an asterisk next to your integrity whenever it comes to the long-term servicing and providing us this phone and the capabilities and the support for it. So yeah, I think definitely if they want to keep people happy and on board, I mean, they need to be transparent, they need to be upfront, and they need to tell people what's going on. And of course, I'm sure there's things in the business world that of course they're not going to be able to talk about, but you got consumers here that want the phone. So I know that they're angling towards government contracts and businesses and things like that. But at the same point in time, you got a very loyal fan base, a very loyal following of people like us who very much care about and like BlackBerry phones. So yeah, it's one of those things where you need to take care of your fan base. Do I think they have a working prototype? I don't know. I mean, that's really difficult to assess because I don't know what's going on. If I knew what was going on, then yeah, I could probably guesstimate. I mean, I would imagine they have something. I mean, they've been going around and talking to different carriers and talking to different businesses and government agencies. So they got to show them something. But as far as a working prototype, I don't know. I mean, it could be one of these things where they come out in a week and say, hey, the phone's going to be here in 2 months. At that, yeah, I would imagine they would have a working prototype. If they come out and they say, hey, it's like 6 months away, maybe they don't have one. I don't know. So everything that I know really hinges on, I mean, just whatever they say. I mean, yeah, I know that there's supposed to be an announcement coming soon. I mean, I've kind of heard that on like the background channels, but as far as talking to them officially, I mean, I don't have anything. But I think it's a good sign that they've been replying to people. And I know Matt03, you said that you heard something from them, so that's great. I haven't. I mean, I didn't write them any questions. I mean, I just send them an email, but I sent them like 2 or 3 emails, and then I tried to schedule another interview months ago, and it's mostly crickets. So hopefully the fact that they're responding to people's emails means that there's some sort of sign of life there that will, that means that there's something promising coming. I think that they're still intact. I mean, I don't think that they're not going to deliver on a device, but I think that at this point, I mean, it's one of those things where it's like, yeah, this is not going to be here like in the next couple of weeks. Are you in touch with Onward Mobility? Can they be prompted to update us to provide security patches updates in the meantime? So I can send them emails, but I mean, they're not going to tell me anything. They haven't told me anything, and that's the thing. But they're very secretive when it comes to stuff. So my imagination, the thing that I can think of here is really they got to put something out in the next 2 weeks. So that I think they're on the clock right now. Whenever we talked about this stuff in January, February, and March, it's like they've got time. Well, everybody's at the church. the groom is up on the platform waiting for the bride, and the bride needs to show up and walk down the aisle. So we'll see. I mean, Kyle, I don't know what's going on behind the scenes. I don't work there with them. They don't communicate that stuff to me. So it's not one of those things. I don't want to make any harsh judgments until they actually say something. Yeah, Matt, the chip shortage isn't helping. I mean, the chip shortage is not helping at all. It's hurting a lot of people. So I mean, LG went out of business. I mean, in the year that they're supposed to bring this phone out, LG has gone out of business. Samsung is not supposed to be bringing out their Note 21 because they can't get enough chips. They already said that. Pixel has switched over to making their own, this new Whitechapel or White Church or whatever this new chip is of theirs. They're going with their own silicone that they're making and designing. And other companies, you look at like Redmi, a lot of their new phones are featuring the MediaTek Dimensity chipset. So there is definitely a problem out in the world when it comes to chips. And it wouldn't surprise me one bit if they said, hey, we can't get one. We can't get our name in the line. So I'm just really at this point, I'm just waiting to see what they say. I mean, I'm hoping once they come out and say something, it gives us a glimmer of hope. It gives us an opportunity to kind of, look at the situation, see what's going on. But they could very well come out and say, X, Y, Z. I mean, I hope it's good news. That's what I hope. But I'm reserving judgment until then. Yeah, I try not to get too hyped up about this one way or the other. I mean, facts are facts. News is news. It is what it is. So it will be what it will be. But I'm hopeful that it's going to be positive news. But we're still waiting. Yeah, the video card. I just spent a fortune buying a AMD RX 6900 XT that's going to be here tomorrow. But like graphics cards, you can't get them. I've been entering a raffle on Newegg since November of last year, trying to win gift like GPUs, graphics cards, and have been unsuccessful. November, December, January, February, March, April, May, June. 8 months of trying week in, week out, sometimes day after each other, sequentially, consecutively, and have not won. So there is a serious problem out in the world right now when it comes to getting the parts they need to build these flagship phones, or even mid-tier phones. I mean, phones, period. So I don't think that the chip shortage is going to be affected for the Titan Pocket. And here's the reason. The P70 is like a 2-year-old chip. I don't think they're making a whole lot of these chips anymore. I think they're basically sitting somewhere in a warehouse and they're getting them cheap. That's why you're not seeing the P90, the G90, the G95. You're not seeing the Dimensity chipset. You're not seeing any of these fancy last 12 to 18 months chips going into the Titan Pocket. So I think what they're buying, and that's why I think when you look at the phone and you see that there's this giant bezel down here, here we go, is because they're using an old screen that was for something else. Like, it wouldn't surprise me if this was from another phone, or they just, got a small production run on things. And screens don't seem to be the problem. I mean, even Samsung is providing the screens, I believe, for the new iPhone. So it's really just, it's really just the silicone. It's the chips themselves, not the screens, not the memory, not the metals. It's the chips, and there's just not enough of them to go around. I was at least able to get an RX 550 at Micro Center. Hey, it's better than nothing, man. Kyle Jacob, no, of course not. I just feel like we should have gotten anything at this point. Yeah, and I really think that that is a ding on them. Of course, we don't know what the circumstances are. I mean, maybe it has something to do with BlackBerry. BlackBerry controls a lot. Like, whenever they give these guys a licensing agreement, I'm pretty certain they have to filter everything through them before they can do stuff, before they can put out press announcements. So, I mean, it may not be all Onward Mobility. It may be some BlackBerry too. So I'm just waiting to see what it is that they come up with. So we'll see. Is that a BlackBerry phone guy geek? No, this is the Unihertz Titan Pocket, and I'll get a close up here. Change my zoom. There we go. So this is the Unihertz Titan Pocket, and this is the latest device from Unihertz. It's a smaller version of the original Titan. They've changed some things. It's got a newer chip in it. The P70 over the P60, 6 gigs of RAM, 128 gigabytes of storage, 3.1-inch screen, and it's on Kickstarter right now. It's fully funded, so it's going to come out. If you want to pick one up, $299, and they're supposed to start shipping them in January. I've made a bunch of videos about that too that you can check out. but very, very much like the Q10 or the BlackBerry Classic, and it's a very good phone. I've been enjoying it a lot. So I think if any of you guys decided to pick one of these up, I think you're going to be really, really surprised once you get it. And I've had a lot of people that have complained. They've been like, "Oh, the P70 is not very good," or "Oh, this and that." I think that you're going to be really surprised. I've been using it, and it's zippy, it's fast. The keyboard is breaking in, so that's good too. And I think that if people want it, I think it's going to be a good option. Is the original Titan still worth getting, Justin J? Yeah, I think so. There's not a lot of performance difference. What I do really like about this one is that it comes already set up with Android 11, which is really, really nice. When it comes to the original Titan, I think it's on 10 right now. I haven't had one. I'm trying to get another one because I want to make some comparison content. And I did talk to them, and they're like, "Sorry, we can't send you one right now." So I'm debating buying another one just so I can cover it more and do some more updated stuff. I mean, I covered it was like a year ago though, and I bought the one back then. But apparently, they like what I do enough here with talking about BlackBerry and keyboard phones that they decided to uh, send this out to me early, very early actually, because it's not going to be available. It's not going to start shipping till September. For Mulus, they should have made the screen bigger or something. Bezels are too big. Yeah, I totally get you there. I really think they should have. The bezels are a little on the large side. They should have made them a little bit bigger. I think that would have gone a long way. Like if this phone had a 4-inch screen, I would be like super in love. Have I tried the NFC? No, I don't use any NFC contactless payments, so I haven't tried that out. But I don't know. Maybe I'll try and give it a whirl and follow back up on that one. I'm not a huge fan of the keyboard on the Unihertz Titan Mat 03. Yeah, I'm not either, and that's why I don't have one. I got it, I tested it out, I used it, I kept it for like a month or two, and then I'm like, this is just not for me, so I got rid of it. I know some people really do love it. I hated typing on it, and that's the thing for me. If the typing experience is not good, why use a physical keyboard? And that's one of the reasons why we rely and depend so much on BlackBerry, because they make such a good keyboard. So I'm hopeful. And that's all I can have at this point. I mean, I have to have hope. If you don't have hope, then, I mean, there's nothing. So I'm hopeful until they say something otherwise. We'll see. Even if they did say, hey, we're not making a new phone, I don't think this is the end. I think a lot of people really believe in the BlackBerry brand. I think that security is a huge relevant issue right now. I think people are looking for novel form factors. I think that the market is farther ahead than what the supply chain can produce right now. So we'll see. Ertgen Bakiri, hopefully I pronounced that right. Why are they shutting down BBOS 10? So the reason they're shutting it down is because they don't officially support it. I mean, they do, but they don't. They got to keep servers running to keep all the back end stuff working, and that costs them money, and they're not making any money off of it. And they've supported it for like 10 years. So I think that's why. I'm not really anticipating, and there's not a point. See, here's the problem. Even if BlackBerry were to say, hey, we're going to continue to support BlackBerry OS 10 for another year, it would be useless because there's no carriers that you'll be able to use it on. So it's not so much even a BlackBerry problem. And I think that's one of the reasons why they selected 2022 is they look at it and see that, hey, yeah, they're not going to support 2G and 3G anymore. 5G is on the way in, 2G, 3G on the way out. It's just not something you're going to be able to use as a viable phone anymore. So I mean, what's the point of supporting software that doesn't work? And this is going to be a global thing. 5G is rolling out. It's been, I think we're in third year now, and it's getting to where either 4G LTE or 5G is better. It's kind of like when you look at these voice over IP phones that you have in people's businesses and offices now, you don't use the traditional landline anymore because you're limited. You used to have one physical line going to one phone and all these operators and switchboards, and now you can do everything digitally, voice over IP using the internet. So there you go. That's the same thing that's happening in the bandwidth for wireless phones. I have the original Titan, but it's too big, way too big. Yep, that's pretty much the way I feel. If they made a slim down Titan, if they made like a Titan like business model that were thinner than this, that had a keyboard more similar to this, I would be all about it. I hope they do. I think they will probably. Nowari Kari, have you tried using the IR blaster? I have not used the IR blaster. I don't have anything set up for it. I don't ever use IR blasters, so I should probably do that and quit being lazy. I've thought about that the other day. I mean, it has one there. If you use an IR blaster now, you should be able to use it however you're using your current one, but that's not something I ever use. Does the Pocket have an app or option like Samsung Dex? Not that I know of. Dex is a very exclusive thing to Samsung. I don't really know of anything that competes directly with that. Pretty good chance the Pocket will be supported on T-Mobile and MVNO companies that use their network. It should be. The issue is not capability with some of the BlackBerry phones. It's whitelisting with AT&T. They just don't officially support it, so they won't allow it on their network. From what I can tell, let me see. Guess you don't get VoLTE on the Titan with AT&T. Well, I don't have AT&T, so I can't test it, but I can say that I'm like 99% certain it won't. So when it comes to the phone itself, though, I have tested it out, and usually the way you can find out if voice over LTE works is when you make a phone call, it will drop the network down from HD or voice over LTE, whatever the little network icon is, down to 2G or 3G. And it doesn't do that. It stays on where it says HD up at the top. So, and then when I turned off the HD voice option, it did drop down to 3G or 4G. So, yeah, I'm 99% certain voice over LTE is fine if you're going to use it on T-Mobile, Metro by T-Mobile. I keep going to say Metro PCS, Metro by T-Mobile, Mint Mobile, some of those other ones. I think the one Simple Mobile, is that the one they have at Walmart that uses T-Mobile? Yeah, so those should still work with it just fine, and Verizon should work too. Since I've been watching here, I bought the Unihertz Titan, but the model's too big and heavy. The Pocket's smaller and lighter. Yeah, the Pocket I think is better. It's got a more tactile keyboard. Watch some of the reviews. I've made like 5 or 6 videos on it already, and I covered it very substantially. I'm guessing you don't. Let me see. So did I miss the AT&T roast yet? I mean, I kind of blended it in a little earlier, and I told a lot of people that AT&T sucks. If you have AT&T, I know some people, you're stuck with it out in the middle of nowhere, and it's the best option. If it's the best option you have, I mean, yeah, you shouldn't hurt yourself to leave the network to have inferior coverage, because when you need your phone, you need your phone. But in an area like where I live in, where T-Mobile and AT&T work just as effectively, then yeah, I totally advocate for using T-Mobile. I don't have voice over LTE provision on my Key 2 LE. Do you think I can complain to AT&T to get it? No. AT&T is not going to support that. They're not going to do that on a one-by-one basis. It's a network policy that they have for just, they're only going to support the phones that they actually support. Big question. What's your top 3 BlackBerries to use now with everything changing? Well, probably the BlackBerry Key 2 if it works, the Key 2 LE if it works. Those are kind of hand in hand. And then I would say the Key 1, and then after that, followed by the Priv. If you're on AT&T, your only 2 options are going to be the Priv or the BlackBerry Key 1. So that would be what I would tell you there. And if you're going to use something else that actually supports it, then the Key 2 or the Key 2 LE are going to be your best bet. And then as it comes out, the Unihertz Titan Pocket, once you can pick that up and use it. So that's pretty much my thoughts. And wow, we've got 105 concurrent viewers in here right now. So thanks a lot for everybody showing up tonight. Hopefully this is helpful. And I wanted to take some time to sit down and talk to y'all guys. And we've got 34 likes right now and 104 people in here watching. So if you're here and you haven't done so already, then please hit the like button. And if you enjoy this and you like the BlackBerry discussion, you like the other content that I make, then consider hitting the subscribe and the notification bell if you want updates when new videos come out. But thanks a ton for being here tonight. So WrestleMania 24444 actually changed to T-Mobile after a video 2 days ago. No complaints using your Jelly 2. Well, you no longer have to be Jelly because you're using your Jelly 2 on T-Mobile, and I'm glad you like it. Have you tried dropping it to confirm its durability? Have I dropped the Titan Pocket? Nope. Oh, there we go. So I just dropped it on the carpet from 4 feet, and it works. Am I going to drop it on concrete? No, because I don't have a case on it, and I don't want to ding the sucker. But I'm not worried about dropping it. I think that it's going to be perfectly fine if you do drop it, but I don't want to mess it up. Were you in the military? If so, how was the experience? Yes, yes, I was in the military. I spent 16 and a half years in the United States Air Force, security forces. So I was Air Force, military, police, law enforcement, infantry stuff, and also a combat arms training and maintenance instructor. So it, I think that's where I get a lot of my presentation stuff here. I used to spend hours doing presentations on like weapons, on how to use them, how to take them apart, how to put them back together, taking people out to the range to use them. So that's probably what might seem familiar to some people if they watch this stuff. But yeah, I was a weapons technician, maintenance instructor, along with military police for 16 and a half years. I sure hope the new BlackBerry works on AT&T. I'm like 99% certain that it will. They're in talks with all major carriers, and I'm fairly certain that they're going to get the certification to operate on the network and support. I'm not worried about that at all. What BlackBerry models are currently going to support? I'm on Verizon. So on Verizon, you can use the Key 2 LE, and you'll be able to use the Titan or the Titan Pocket whenever it comes out. Thank you for your service. You're very welcome. Thank you. How long will Unihertz support this phone? My guess is probably 2 years. It's got Android 11. It should get Android 12. I don't know if it'll ever see Android 13, but that would be great if it does. And I got to tell you, it's so nice. And I wish more people could use this. Like, I wish y'all could experience the feedback that I've given y'all whenever it comes to this device, because it's so refreshing. Like, just the first couple of days I was using it, I, for so long, wanted a BlackBerry that had at least Android 9 so we could start using the swipe gestures, because BlackBerry 10 was such a good experience with the swipe gestures. So when you talk about, whenever you talk about BlackBerry, it felt so backwards going to Android and then not having swipe gestures. I totally hated it. So when the Key 2 and the Key 2 LE came out with Android 8.1, I'm like, sweet, that means that they're going to have Android 10. So there we go. And yeah. So yeah, I'll be glad. When are you starting a channel for the Supra? The CPMs are higher for automotive channels versus tech. I don't have time. I don't have time for two different channels. I don't know, because I've got my WRX STI and I've got my Toyota. A couple people have alluded to this. I bought a Toyota Supra 2 days ago, a 2020 model. So I don't really know if it's a tech related thing. Like, I'm not going to be putting Toyota Supra videos on the YouTube channel. I thought about making one just to show off like the modern stuff. It's got the CarPlay with Apple and some other cool stuff in there. Really neat. Like, it's crazy awesome. I love it. But yeah, I don't know. I can't afford the mods. Like, I'm not going to be modding the car, and I don't want to avoid the factory warranty. So I don't know. I mean, I'm sure I could make a channel, I guess, and do videos on my WRX and my Supra. But it's an amazing car. I loved it when I was growing up. I mean, during the 90s, if you were a teenager during the 90s, like, the Supra was it. I mean, I always loved the Toyota Supra. And then, of course, it was in Fast and the Furious. So yeah, I'm in love with this car. I'm pretty done with AT&T and their shenanigans after using them for 10 years. So AT&T has had terrible shenanigans. T-Mobile coverage is actually getting better in many areas than AT&T, because they got 50% of the 600 megahertz spectrum at the auction a few years ago, and they are more quickly deploying the 5G and the extended network. So I think that you may be surprised. All the new towers that are going up, they're not old towers, they're new towers, and they're taking advantage of band 71, band 66, the 5G spectrum. So T-Mobile with 5G and LTE may work really well in your area and likely save you some money, because AT&T charges entirely too much money. I hate AT&T. Like, I should do an entire live stream about how much I hate AT&T. Are there any legit renders of the new BlackBerry? No, not that I can confirm. When it comes to anything you see out there right now on YouTube, and I spoke about this before, it's so frustrating because there's like this one guy, GSMaholic, that keeps putting out these different videos about these supposed new renders or leaks or phones that are supposed to be coming out. They're simply not true. And they're a nice pipe dream. They're a nice thing to look at and go, oh, that's cool. I would really like to see some of that stuff. But Onward Mobility, I did talk to them like 3 months ago, because I was like, hey, like, there's a couple people that are kind of putting some of these things out there. Like, is this legit? And they're like, no, that's not legit. So from what I know, all the stuff that's out there right now is not what's coming out. And it's so obvious too, though. You see some of them, they make this new one, they call it the classic, or they call it the new Priv 2, and then it's got an all touchscreen keyboard. I'm like, well, they said it's going to be a physical keyboard, not an all touchscreen. So clearly, this is not it. Roblox girl, BlackBerry news. I mean, that's what you're kind of talking about, but no, there's nothing new. I've been using the BlackBerry Bold AT&T with T-Mobile, and digits just for calls and text with a separate style of 5 for email. Bold died, lost everything. I'm so sorry to hear that. And that may be an option too for an older phone if you can get digits to work on it. That might be an option. I decided not to wait. I'm getting the Pocket in September, so I have a QWERTY when my Key 2 LE is not supported. Yeah, the Unihertz Titan Pocket, I think you're going to like it a lot. Please do a video on the IR blaster. Just want to be sure. I probably won't do an entire video just on the IR blaster because that's such a niche video, but I may cover it in another video just to talk about it, or maybe a YouTube short just to get it out there. I can do something a little bit more targeted that way to show it off, but likely I'm not going to make an entire dedicated video to just the IR blaster. If OnwardMobility doesn't say anything about the new phone, and by the time the Unihertz Titan Pocket hits the market, I'm giving up on OnwardMobility. Hey, I feel you. I understand. And it's okay to be upset. I mean, it's something that you care about. It's a phone we all care about and we like a lot. So yeah, not having that and then another phone delivering another phone very similar to what we used to use, and it's kind of a no-brainer to me. But I mean, if they still were to come out with something, then I would still be on board with it. I mean, I just want a new phone. I don't care if it's OnwardMobility. I don't care if it's another licensing partner. As long as we get a new one with a new new keyboard, new phone, all that great stuff. I mean, it'll be great when it gets here, but right now, there's just, I mean, it's been so long since we've heard anything. It's very frustrating. OnwardMobility is dead. I don't think that they're dead. I think we'll hear something very soon. Let me see. I'm so excited for it 3 months ago. Yeah, September is a short way away, but it is a long way away too. Like if I were to have pre-ordered one and they hadn't sent me this, like it would be killing me waiting for that phone right now. How BlackBerry users left on the planet. So I think the number is around 1.2 million people still using BlackBerry phones. And I don't know what the situation is globally. And I know some people in here watch stuff that's not, from other countries. So 2G and 3G may still work in your areas longer than the 5G, the issues we have here in the U.S. So there may still be globally a larger presence than there might still be in the U.S. here in the near future. And also, Jeff, sorry, I didn't overlook your comment. Love the color, by the way, and I normally hate red cars outside of Ferrari. Red is a very, very Ferrari color. And that's just how it's always been. But, yeah, red has not always been my number one preference. I prefer white or black. White or black. I don't do a lot of crazy colors. I get tired of like the blues and the other stuff like that. But red on this one just looks so nice. Do I think the new BlackBerry will be out by the end of the year? I don't know. I'm just waiting to see what these guys tell us. I mean, they got to say something in the next 2 weeks. I mean, they have to. So I'm just waiting to see what their announcement is. I'm sure they'll tell us something then. They told us first half 2021, then they disappear. Very professional. Well done. Yeah. It's not professional. It's very frustrating. What do you think about Mr. Mobile's review for the Titan Pocket? I thought it was a good glossary. I think it was a good cursory look at the phone. And it kind of inspired me a little bit when I made my phone. Like, I appreciate, he's one of the few guys out there that still likes keyboards like I do. So the video that he made, I think was very good at showcasing the device and, for people who are interested in it. But that's why my video is like 21 minutes. I went very, very much in depth on a lot of things because it's not just, oh, here's a keyboard. It's not just, oh, here's a couple of features. Yeah, I wanted to give you all my real world experience on things. So, but of course, my channel is more tailored and more niche towards keyboard phones. I mean, yeah, he used to spend a lot more time on it, but yeah, I think it's a solid video. I think that it's worth watching. I think there's some valuable content there, and we all have different perspectives on things. So that's why it's great to have multiple people tackle the same topic. What do you think of, let me see, how can I contact Onward Mobility? Go to their website, onwardmobility.com. You can go to the contact us section and send them a letter, send them an email. And hey, maybe if y'all go send them a bunch of emails, maybe they'll reply faster. Kimball, I'm still enjoying my Key 2. That's great. I've got mine in the other room right now. Actually, I'm going to make another video about it here soon, so we'll cover that soon as well. Unfortunately, we should forget about BlackBerry phones. Yeah, no, I'm good. I have the S21 Ultra, and I can tell you that keyboard phones are still relevant, and they still bring a lot of joy to people's lives. So until we hear something from them, I'm not making any prejudgments on things like that. So I would caution that as well, to temper your expectations or temper your temper until then. I thought they were shipping the Pocket in September. They are. The reason that I have the Titan Pocket right now is because they sent me a review unit. So the actual ones are going to go into production in August. They're supposed to start shipping in September. Wow. 115 people in here tonight. I am so glad y'all all took the time. I mean, it's a Sunday night. Y'all can be doing a lot of other things right now other than listening to a balding middle-aged man talk about phones that haven't been relevant in 3 years. But we're trying to make it relevant. We're trying to have some success, hopefully, with this new device. But thank you for being here. Thank you for taking the time to sit here and hang out and watch, listen, talk, and be active. I love all the chat over here so I can interact with you guys. Questions are great, too. And 120 concurrent viewers, and we have 57, 58 likes now. So if you're in here and you haven't hit the like button, please go ahead and hit the like button if you're enjoying yourself, because it does help out with the metrics. It helps get the video out there and shows up so other people can see it. So that way we get more traction, so we get more people in here. And if you like this stuff, if you like my take on keyboard phones and BlackBerry, my perspective, then yeah, subscribing and hitting the notification bell so you get updates when stuff comes out. I cover a lot of stuff. I mean, I put out a case review on an iPad Pro today, so you never know. But I do love me some keyboard phones. And thanks a lot for all you who are here. And I got about 13 minutes left. I'm going to do this. Gonna close up shop at 8. So if you've got any other questions, any stuff you want to talk about, please fire it off in the chat so I can try and answer that. And Andres, thank you very much. I'm glad you enjoy the content. I enjoy listening to a handsome middle-aged man talking about things that are interesting. Oh, thank you. Yeah, it's surprising to me. Like I never, when I started this channel, thought there would be so many people who cared about the same stuff that I do and enjoy watching the videos that I make. So I thank you guys all the time for watching this stuff. What do you think of the full-size Titan in 2021? I think it's still viable. I think it's very good. I think you're going to find the experience is it's been updated. It's got Android 10 on there now. I think it'll probably get Android 11. The only thing I don't like about it is the keyboard. I didn't enjoy typing on it. So, I mean, that's the thing. If I enjoyed typing on the keyboard, I wouldn't care about the screen. I wouldn't care about the performance. So it's one of those things where you just need to pick it up and try out the keyboard. You can pick them up brand new on Amazon for like $349. So it's kind of low bar for picking one up. I think maybe they should drop the price a little bit since it's been out over a year, but we'll see. But I think it's still very relevant. The other thing is, I think the camera was a bit of a miss on this phone with the Titan Pocket. There are so many phones out there for like $250, $200 that have better cameras. So I really feel like they should have equipped it better than that. But of course, that's not the primary reason this phone exists. It's the keyboard. Can BlackBerry work like the previous years? I mean, without any other partner? I mean, they could, but I think BlackBerry has problems when it comes to money right now, too. I mean, BlackBerry themselves is not in a great place. If BlackBerry was in a great place, I think they'd be making the phones themselves and not relying on a licensing agreement to a third party. So that's kind of the state of things. Do you think if popular YouTubers like MKBHD or others push for keyboard phones, it'll make a difference to manufacturers that might react? Well, I think that when the new phone comes out, I think that how well they're received by the community, MKBHD, I'm sure we'll cover one. I'm sure Mr. Mobile, I'm sure a lot of big name people will cover it. It's just people like me that are covering them now. And there's not a lot of people out there looking for TechOdyssey and Adam J. Matlock on YouTube. So if you've got 1 million, 9 million, 10 million subscribers, then yeah, that's a great area of influence. And if the new BlackBerry comes out and they get it in their hands and they say, hey, this is a good phone, then I think that that will drive some conversation. I think that that'll get more phones in people's hands and be good feedback for the developers, so that way they can say, hey, yeah, this is a good thing. On volume, do you think the new BlackBerry will have similar form factor dimensions to the Key series? I don't know. I don't think it will, though. And those are contradictory statements, I guess. I mean, originally I thought so, but I think they've kind of gone back to the drawing board. I think we're going to see something more unique, I think it's going to be something they want to try and put their stamp on and come out and be like, this is us. I mean, I don't think it's going to be another key-looking device. Love to listen to people who are passionate about BlackBerry as we are. Life does not revolve around Apple iPhone. No, it doesn't. The delay with OnwardMobility is frustrating, but many businesses have been impacted by the pandemic and the shortage of vital parts. It would be nice to hear an update, though. And that's the thing. I think a lot of people largely will and have understood that market conditions are just terrible for all phone manufacturers and development right now. So if they were to come out and say, hey, we're having issues with this, I would understand completely. But I think they should have done it a long time ago, because clearly it's been impacted up till now. I mean, we should have had a phone already. So that's just really the thing there is communication. These guys need to communicate. And I sent them an email and I'm like, look, people need to know. People need to know what's going on. I mean, yeah, whenever it comes to actual, like, what's going on in the business, no, I mean, that could hurt your investors, that could hurt your business, it could hurt your brand. But what you can tell your fans what you can tell your fans. I think that's an important message. 5G is yesterday's news. Instead, we've decided to all go on 7G, and today we announced it. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, 6G, I know they're already working on. Why does AT&T suck at them? Yes, I know I'm late to the party. Well, they suck because they are not supporting BlackBerry phones. Actually, they're not supporting a lot of phones, and that's the problem. Like, if you want to pick up a Xiaomi phone, you're not going to be able to use it on AT&T. If you want to pick up a phone that AT&T doesn't sell, it might not work there, and that's very problematic. So the BlackBerries, the BlackBerry 10 phones, anything running 2G and 3G, they're kicking off the network because they're not going to support them anymore. And then phones that they don't actually officially support for voice over LTE, even if they are voice over LTE capable phones, they're not going to work on the network. So they're basically, I think, using this as a tactic to try and streamline and force people to buy new phones because they've been hemorrhaging customers for years. I mean, they're not the number one phone market, not the number one phone carrier. So they're using this, I think, as an opportunity to try and force people to buy new phones that are expensive and get them locked into contracts and agreements. See, having people on your network is not what keeps you in business. Keeping people on your network long term is what keeps you in business. So if you can get someone to buy a phone and then be committed to being on their network for 2 to 3 years, then you just locked up a paycheck from somebody you can depend on for a long time. So that's why they suck. I don't think Verizon is doing BlackBerry, but I can't pay attention half the time. So right now, the Key 2 LE, as far as I know, works on their network. Thank you for your time doing the live and the research you do to put this together. You're live, well prepared, not BS out of your behind. I don't script or I keep up on stuff, so I just get on here and talk. I need one badly, can't wait. AT&T shut down 2G in 2017. Okay, yeah, so maybe it's just 3G now. I thought it was 2G and 3G. What form factor do you want the new BlackBerry to be? I hope it's a Passport 2 or a Classic. Honestly, what I would want is like a bigger version of the Classic. I would love like 4.2, 4.3 inch screen with a really solid keyboard. I think that would be a really good form factor, as long as they nail it with the keyboard a little bit wider, because the Classic's a little too narrow. You got my like every time. Luis Enrique Moreno, thank you very much. Augustino's Penay. Hopefully I pronounced that right. I would like to have the red Key 2. Yeah, the Key 2 is crazy expensive. It is a really expensive phone, even on resale. People are selling these things for like $1,400-1,500 bucks. It's crazy. AT&T is sending me text telling me my motion won't work in February and I need to buy a new phone. Yeah, a lot of people are getting those emails and text messages. People have forwarded me those, and it stinks. AT&T always seems to be third out of the big three on the list I've seen. Yeah, I think they are number 3 now. I think T-Mobile's number 2. I think they're going to pass Verizon the next few years. Still can't find a contact page for Onward Mobility. Let me see if I can pull it up for you. OnwardMobility.com. It's under the Learn More section, inquiry type. Yeah, okay, so here we go. I will post this. There is an actual email address they have, but you can go there and fill out a thing and it'll auto-generate a response. Let me check my email real quick while I'm talking. I believe that they have an actual... I know I talked about it before in previous videos, telling people that there is like a legitimate email that you can send an email to. There we go. Up. Sorry, I'm trying to multitask right now. Trying to find y'all this email address. So in case you want to send them a direct email. No, that's not it. So trying to find it. And give it to you so y'all can send them emails. But yeah, so if you have any other questions, I'm getting ready to wrap things up here in a minute. So if you want me to answer something, go ahead and send it off in the comment section over there, and I'll try to grab it real quick before I hop off of here. But again, thank you so much. Still over 100 people in here, so make sure you hit the like and the subscribe button, notification bell, all that stuff if you're interested on the way out the door. And I've got a lot of stuff coming out this week to talk about as well. I can't find this email. I'll try and find it so I can. If I find it, I'll share it in the community tab on the YouTube channel so that way you can see it and you can talk to them directly. Any government still using BlackBerry? I'm not sure. Thank you for your service. Hope you're able to get a retirement out of it. Yeah, I mean, that's why at 16 and a half years, they medically retired me. After deploying 3 times and being in a combat-related career field for 16 and a half years, I was too beat up to deploy, so they are like, you got to go. Spacebar stopped working on my key 2. Have to use a virtual keyboard on it. Have you tried reaching out to their customer support to see if they're still doing any service repairs? I'm not sure if they are or not. My AT&T service is much better than Verizon, at least in my area. My son, the Marines, just left Verizon for T-Mobile and seems to be happy with it so far. Yeah, they all pretty much have identical coverage in most areas nowadays. T-Mobile is not as great once you're on 5 or 6 miles from the interstate. It depends on where you're at, and that's why I say for rural areas, if you're in like the middle of Alaska or like middle of Kansas somewhere, then yeah, AT&T or Verizon might still be slightly better options, but T-Mobile's catching up fast. Thanks as always, Michael Cochran. You're very welcome. Thanks for being here tonight. I need to buy a new BlackBerry for AT&T. Which should I look for? I would recommend the Key One. The Key One would probably be your best bet. You touched on it, but how does the Titan Pocket feel using it one-handed? I will say that it's fine using it one-handed. I mean, the only thing is, I think if you have a smaller phone, with an all touchscreen, I think it's easier to use the keyboard because, of course, you're tapping on things as opposed to like pressing on physical buttons, but it's fine one-handed. It's great for making phone calls and navigating the screen. I do like it for being a small one-handed use. BJ Perry, you're welcome. Thank you so much for saying that. Twitter works too. Yes, it does. And I think that's about it. Please help you reach 100 subscribers. Well, do the work and I'm sure people will show up. So let me go ahead and we're going to call it quits for tonight. T-Mobile better than Verizon. It depends on your area. In my area, I would take T-Mobile over Verizon any day of the week. So yeah, we're coming to the end of our hour. Thank you so much for stopping by tonight. You guys are all awesome. I appreciate it. And it was great hanging out with you guys again, talking BlackBerry, talking about the things that we love. And there's an email right there that they just put out. I think that one will work. Contact at Onward Mobility. Contact at OnwardMobility.com. So check that out. Yeah, the Vets plan on T-Mobile is really good. That's another reason I like that too. If you're former military, then they've got a great plan. I think first responders too. So not just inclusive to military. But thanks a lot. I hope you'll have a wonderful rest of your evening and finish off your weekend strong. If you're across the pond and you're overseas and it's already the weekend, I hope you have a wonderful week. Drink lots of coffee. Have a great day. And you'll have a great day tomorrow. And I'm going to try and do this again next Sunday. And we'll come back and talk about more things. So thanks so much for being here. It's great. Love you guys. Hit the like button on the way out the door. Subscribe. Notification bell. Stay safe. I'll see you guys next time. If I can find the end screen button. Peace out, guys.